Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie, and today we are going to be window shopping for Polish Pickup this month. Polish Pickup, or PPU for short, is a monthly pre-order marketplace. It takes place on the first weekend of every month, and there's always a new theme and a ton of indie brands that participate. Most of the brands contribute a nail polish, but there are a lot of other hand and nail care type of products, though I'm not really going to be browsing those. So we'll chat more at the end. For now, let's just browse the website. So here is the website for Polish Pickup this month. The theme is optical illusions, and the shop will be open from October 3rd through the 6th. So let's just go into the nail polish and look at the first two rows. From here, we have some interesting shades. The one that's kind of catching my eye the most, well, there's two, but I first want to tap into the Amaya Cosmetics Faces of Nature. I love these shades of green so much. They are so pretty. It's cool that it's a trithermal, but I don't really want to buy a thermal, but this one is so stunning. I just really love the colors, especially that middle shade. There's something about it that it looks kind of unique to me, like I can't think of a dupe for that one. I think it's easier to come up with a dupe for the darker and lighter shades, but that middle one, ooh, that is just so beautiful. So yeah, I just wanted to look at it a little bit. And the other one is actually another thermal. Oh, actually no, this is a solar one, but this is Alchemy's Blank Signature, which looks so stunning. The different states of the solar, the different transition colors are so pretty. I can't get over how vibrant that aqua minty kind of color is. Oh man, that is so... Ooh, this kind of reminds me of something that came out in a recent, or maybe not recent, but a previous PPU, where maybe that one was a thermal. I unfortunately don't remember the name of the brand or the polish, but it was really giving Monsters Inc. So, maybe it was a little different, maybe not an exact dupe to this, but a similar vibe. It is super cute though, very, very pretty. But yeah, I'm not really feeling anything else here. I mean, the magnetics are cool, but we already have so many, especially from the Island P collections. I feel like those are maybe more similar, being, the multi-chromatic, super shifty ones. This other magnetic though, by Baroness X, this looks kind of like a, not dupe, but kind of alternative to Mooncat's Imperial Stormtrooper, but this has these additional black flakies. So I know not many people love black flakies. I think it's kind of interesting that they went with this, but who knows, maybe they didn't want to, really make a dupe for it, but yeah, it is close enough. So we can just move on to the next two rows. And okay, from here, a couple of other standouts. The Bee's Knees Spicy Noodle. I love the name of this one, but that shimmer looks so gorgeous. This is such a tiger's eye type of polish. I can't tell if it's like kind of green, that base color, or if it's just brown. Okay, yeah, it's just described as a deep brown, but I guess it's the shimmer that's sort of giving it a tinge of green. So I don't love that. Like if it was, just brown, I would love it even more, but there's some photos that kind of push it into the prugly category for me, but then the others where it's like really giving tiger's eye, oh my gosh, that's so pretty, but I'm not gonna get it either way, so I just wanted to look at it. This Vanessa Melina is so stunning, like the shimmer is so incredibly glowy. I am not going to be getting it, but I just wanted to look at it because I feel like, it's similar to something we've seen before, but I'm also blanking out. I don't think this would be a dupe for Glass Frog, for example, but I just wouldn't be surprised if there is a dupe from Ethereal or Lumen, because I feel like both of those brands have put out something like this, but it's just so glowy, especially in lower lighting, which are these types of photos. It looks stunning. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm not really into anything else, so we can just move on to the next 2 rows. From here, okay, there's a few that are standing out. The Dom, I think it is so pretty. It's kind of giving, you know, a Tiffany blue, maybe with a little bit of a gold shimmer in there, but I don't even want to tap into that one. I am more interested in tapping into the cracked polish and the cupcake. So let's look at the cracked first. It's called Refraction. Oh my gosh, that looks so pretty. You already know I love these like ethereal white kind of shimmers. I know some people are gonna be like, it's just giving nothing. And that's totally valid, right? Like I'm assuming this is just one coat, and so it's very sheer. Maybe this one is 2. I don't know how many coats they do. I wish, you know, they would add the coats in like the corner or something, but this is just such a pretty shade. Oh my gosh, no, don't look at the macro, because like the macro is stunning, right? I would hang this photo on my wall. That's probably so creepy, but no, it just looks so beautiful. But obviously it's different. You can't see those like little tiny details the way that you do in, you know, a photo that's just more zoomed out, right? But even just from here, like these normal quote unquote photos, I love. I love it so much. I think this is probably like, you know, a sister shade to Skelly Bones / Pink Hair Strands, but this is obviously missing that pink shimmer. It's just kind of a white color. Yeah, it's described as a sheer white lit from within with green, silver, and blue shimmers. Okay, so yeah, there is like a little bit of, you know, color in here, but it's very subtle, and I'm not mad at that. But now see, I'm trying to think, what do I have that's similar to this? I don't think I have a shimmery white in this type of finish where it's like a very small shimmer, almost micro flaky. The ones that I immediately think of, especially seeing this photo, I immediately had Cirque's Mystic Moonstone pop into my head, but that's more of a pearly base and with a darker blue shimmer. And the whites from Mooncat, they're not quite like this. Like even Pixie Stick, you know, that has a really strong green shimmer. The one that has a lighter blue, I think, is Head in the Clouds, unless that one's a dark blue, but it's still like more of a crelly, you know, it's very different. So I think I'm gonna add this to my wish list. I'm sorry. Who am I apologizing to? I guess myself. But this just looks so pretty. Like I want to be strong because it's like, I know I have other white shimmers, but this one is so pretty. Maybe, you know, I'll go back through my collection and double check that I don't have a closer dupe, but for now, let me have this, okay? And the other one I want to look at is Cupcakes the dress, because I'm like, oh, I wonder if this is going to be a dupe, for Mooncat's Epilogue to Utopia, but I don't think so. I think this is a lot more blue. Also, oh my god, wait, is this like inspired by the dress? Yes, it is. That is so, I love that. What a perfect inspiration because of like the black base, the blue stripe, you know, it's just amazing. I don't think I've ever seen duos offered on Polish Pickup, but I feel like it would have been so perfect if they had a duo where the other shade was white and gold, you know? But yeah, this is super stunning. I guess maybe it is similar to Epilogue to Utopia, but it's just depends on the lighting. Overall, oh my god, wow. What magnet looks like this? Okay, let me not get sidetracked. I still think this might have a stronger blue color, like a more sapphire, while the Mooncat is like a little bit more purple leaning, or maybe it just like, you know, shifts to purple in extreme light. So not exactly a dupe, but kind of similar. And yeah, unfortunately, don't really care to tap into anything else, so we can already move on to page number 2. Okay, we definitely have some more beauties, especially on the bottom row, but real quick, the Glisten and Glow Museum of Illusions, this one reminds me sort of a previous PPU shade, but from KB Shimmer, called Beat You To It, though that was a pure full coverage like reflective glitter, but I feel like the color is so similar. And I do think there was another shade, like another PPU that had the same kind of finish, but again, I do not remember it. I just remember making that same kind of comparison back to the KB shimmer. I unfortunately don't think this is similar to any kind of Mooncat shade. Like at first I thought maybe Snake Charmer or not Poseidon's Prize, Sunken Splendor, but it's maybe like an in-between of those two, or even something like Island Pea's Enchantment, you know, kind of a similar vibe, but I think that one's a lot darker. So it's stunning, but you know, I don't need it. And actually, now that we're up here, I do want to look at this Garden Path Divine Inspiration because it's just giving Halloween. Very gorgeous color combination, but unfortunately I don't think I would want to pick this up. It makes me sad because I still have yet to try Garden Path, but you know, maybe one day. Now onto this bottom row. The Haunted is beautiful. It's stunning, but it's also like we've seen this flavor 1,000 times before. It's kind of giving Bee's Knees Doomicorn, maybe Penelope Luz's Funny Tree. I guess it depends really on like the shade of shimmer, because Doomicorn, from what I remember, is more green, a little bit less aqua, at least head on. This might even be kind of similar to Polish for Days Lush, which I already have and cannot recommend enough. So if you don't already have a shade like this, I feel like this would be a great time to pick it up, because oh man, I just can't wait to find the Haunted shade that like is worth it to me, where it's, you know, very unique to my collection, because I love the bottle and the packaging. I know that's such a silly reason to, you know, want to buy something, but I can't help it. So I would love to at least have one in my collection at some point, but it's not going to be this one. The Great Lakes is really pretty, an upside down world. This one is kind of, oh, there's no more photos, but this is kind of giving Cirque's Huga, maybe like a little darker. It's hard to tell, obviously, from the photos, but it's a similar vibe to the color palette or color story of the Cirque shade. So, you know, I don't need to get that one, but it's very pretty. Love it. And lastly, this Hearts and Promises Northern Fantasy. This one was immediately giving me Cracked Polish's Infinite Thrill, which was from the Euphoric collab with Ethereal last year, but then they like restocked it, I feel like a few months ago, but it might be sold out now again. So if you happen to miss that one, I don't, you know, this isn't an exact dupe. I think this is more of a glowy, like jelly kind of shimmer. The Cracked was a little bit more like almost like a semi-pearlescent formula. So, you know, not an exact dupe or anything, but the color of just this like striking blue shimmer against this purpley base. It is so gorgeous, so glowy. But yeah, that's pretty much it from here. So we can go on to the next two rows. And I mean, you know, I would say that my favorite, right, the one standing out the most is the Kathleen & Co., but I don't even want to tap into it. But it looks stunning. Like, that is so vibrant. I love how it looks from there, and I'm just gonna keep admiring it from over there, you know? I think this Dior Couture Dizzy, that's also really pretty, but I love how it looks in the bottle. I don't like this other color. Is this okay, yeah, this is another solar, so you know, at least it's not a thermal, but I don't know, I would prefer if it just didn't transition at all and it just stayed in that color. But actually, looking at some other photos, it's like hard to tell what color it is, but it's giving, you know, a summer coral kind of shade. Oh man, I would love this so much in the summer. If there's something that comes out similar to this, or let's say this comes back for Rewind, I think I would get it then, even though it is a solar, just for this, you know, because this lighter color, the, you know, quote unquote red, which I think it's more coral, that's the color you see indoors, right? So like, I'm mostly indoors. I think it would be worth it, but That is really, really pretty. While I'm not really interested in the other shades here, I do want to point out the Jen and Berry's Mantis Masquerade. This one is kind of reminding me of the KB Shimmer that just came out. I am blanking on the name. I just watched the video though, but it's kind of that similar vibe and color palette, I guess. And I did also see Ray do a side-by-side comparison, I think on her post tab, of Polish for Days, I think it's Mean Ghouls, which may have come out last year for Halloween or maybe the year before, but they're basically those three can be sisters, they look so similar in that sense, at least going off of my memory. Maybe this Jen and Berry's has a smaller flaky or something, but overall it has a very similar vibe to those two other shades. And the only other one that's kind of familiar to me is this Lemming Lacquer Cheshire Cat Grin. This is giving Sassy Sauce's Cock-a-Doodle Doom, but apparently with a gold reflective, so you can easily recreate that. But yeah, for everything else, I don't really care for it, so we can move on to the next two rows. Okay, this Linby is stunning, but immediately giving me Island Peas Mood Ring. Maybe, a little different though, because I feel like when it comes to the blue pink magnetics, this looks like a much more vibrant shade of blue, almost going into a cyan, minty territory. You know what I mean? There's a little bit, or a teal color. I don't think the other blue to pink magnetics we've seen have this same shift, so it's at least unique in that way. But if you don't see the teal and you just get that, that brighter blue and pink, it's definitely giving Mood Ring, which is still really pretty. And the other blue shimmer that's standing out to me is this Monarch lacquer. This one is, oh my god, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. What is this reminding me of? I don't know if this would be Holo Taco's Light Link. No, not Light Link, sorry, wireless mode. But from what I remember, that one was just so incredibly sheer. But maybe, a similar color, but yeah, definitely a similar vibe to blue shimmers we've seen before. Speaking of Holo Taco, the one right next to it too is kind of reminding me in a way of Guilty Pleasure, but if it was a crushed hollow or something. I love the shade of pink in here though. That looks so cute. And the purple is pretty too. I love the transition, a purple and pink thermal is probably one of my favorite color combinations, but I'm obviously not going to be buying that one. And then for the bottom row, this Moonshine Manny Inception is reminding me, it's a shame there's no more photos, but this one is reminding me so much of Fauve's Frida, which I just shared. Maybe this has a little bit more of an orangey shimmer there, right? At least what you see on the middle finger, so that's more similar to Island Peas Misfit, but I think this is just darker, so it looks to have a more similar vibe to the Fauve, super stunning. And the only other one that's kind of giving a familiar vibe is this Night Owl Moon Illusion. Oh, this is so pretty. I love colors like this. What? That is so pretty. I want to say this reminds me of a Cirque, but I can't think of the name. At least maybe it's not one that I have, because I'm thinking of Earthen, but maybe that's just a different shade, and it's the only other one that I can think of from them. Oh, actually, maybe this is more Potion Polish's Dusk, which I don't think is around anymore, so if you wanted that one and this is, fingers crossed, similar, I think it'd be so worth it. But wow, I love that color combination. It's just it's so cozy, so pretty, but we already have it, so I don't need it. So finally we can move on to, the last page. And okay, from here we have another blue magnetic, this Paint It Pretty. This one is more blue than, what was it, Cupcake? I think that was the one I talked about earlier, but this looks so beautiful. I was gonna say, like, you know, when it comes to a more vibrant blue, the one that I have at least is Starly's Oceanic Moonlight. I feel like Bee's Knees came out with one. I don't remember what it's called. I don't know if it was Blade Frontiers maybe. And that was in their, you know, iconic smooth shimmer kind of formula. So not that this would be a dupe for either. It looks a little bit darker, but I love the contrast. You know, like that pigment, the bright cyan color against the deep base, that is so stunning. But yeah, I don't need it. And the Penelope Loose Windy Day, that is also so pretty, but also reminding me of Mooncat's Mermaid Bait, you know, just like that type of polish color combo. Still very gorgeous, but you know, we don't need it. And yeah, I'm not really feeling anything else. Like, I mean, maybe the Polish for Days Flaky Balm here, Illusion of Depth, is like the most interesting, but it's not really one that I would wear, so I know I don't even have to tap into it. I think the Pie Colors is like kind of cool, but I love the two photos on the left where it's like the indirect lighting and it looks so much more glowy. That's kind of reminding me of maybe like a cracked sort of pearly shimmer, but this has a more strong like color contrast. So not really a dupe at all, but it just looks so glowy. But yeah, we can just go on to the next two rows, and from here, the Sassy Sauce Double Vision looks so cool. Again, you know, kind of hate that it's a thermal, but in a way I'm more forgiving just because of how cool it looks with the flakies. Like, I love that no matter what, you see the red flakies against the black base or the black flakies against the red. That is so satisfying. But yeah, this is definitely another one that I would like never really wear. It's just really cool, you know? I do like the base color of the Swamp Gloss, but I don't love the glitter mix in here. Like, it's unique for sure, and it looks cool in the bottle. I can appreciate it that way, but unfortunately, I know that I would just like hate this on my nails. But the base color is stunning. Oh, that is so, so pretty. But yeah, and I love their logo too. I feel like Swamp Gloss is another brand that, you know, similar to Garden Path, it's like I would want to try it, but I just haven't found the right one. So yeah, we can just move on. And oh my god, this Sweet and Sour, whoa, okay. Not that I'm tempted to get it or something, but like this photo especially, this reminds me so much of Illyrian Polish's Vampire Squid. From the whatever other like, you know, photo that popped up once I tapped into it though, I can tell that it's not an exact dupe for it because this looks like it has a more jelly base. Yeah, like blue flakies. The Illyrian is more of a true micro glitter. But seeing this photo was like, it was like Vampire Squid, you know? That was so crazy. That is such an old polish. I'm like kind of impressed that I was able to make that pull. That's probably like the most impressive thing that I'll reference ever. I don't know if Illyrian is like still around, but that is such an oldie. Really beautiful. I love the color combination, but man, that one stained so bad. I feel like I rarely deal with like staining. I know, you know, I'll complain about, oh, my nails are stained, but it's like they're like a little yellow. I rarely get staining from, you know, like where it's red or green or something. But that one, oh man, that messed me up. Really stunning though. And speaking of stunning, this Tyler's Trinkets Beneath the Surface, oh my god, that is beautiful. Wow, I love the depth in that one. I love how you can see the pops of green, but I feel like in a lot of the photos it kind of just leans more blue with like the pops of black flakies, which is still cool, but yeah, I feel like it's kind of one of those where, you know, depending on the right lighting, you can get more of that greenish teal color shift. Super, super stunning. This looks so, wow, like these photos look so different than this one because in my mind, it was registering as kind of like a black base with the teal flakies. So I was gonna say, you know, as stunning as it is, it kind of is reminding me of Island P's Lord, which, you know, has that dark siren kind of vibe. Still different finishes or flakies, where I think these are more larger and iridescent, while the Island P ones are much tinier but also metallic flakies, so they just have like a little different, you know, effect to them. And there's way less of a green or teal color combo in Island P. But then, you know, seeing these photos, it's just like so different, where the black flakies look so much smaller. I don't know what the base of this would remind me of, but, you know, I feel like we probably have seen a blue with teal flakies before. Honestly, like, this finish in general reminds me of Rogue, you know, maybe a little bit of Polish for Days or maybe Cuticula. I feel like they also do flaky bombs, so there might be something more similar to it. But yeah, from this photo, that's so crazy. I thought this was a black-based polish, so it just is so different than what I thought. But yeah, I don't really, you know, care for the other flakies, unfortunately. So we can just look at the hand and nail care to see what KB Shimmer scrub is being offered. And it's called Pumpkin Souffle. Okay, this is gonna be interesting because, you know, even though I am a basic bee, like fall baby through and through, and I love my pumpkin spice, I don't always love a pumpkin scent. You know, like sometimes they can be a little too sweet. So this says it's a comforting sense of freshly cooked pumpkin, toasted pecans and walnuts, and rich caramel. Ooh, I think the caramel is what I'm most nervous about. There's also hints of ginger, cinnamon, and allspice. And the spice too. Like, okay, I know I love drinking a pumpkin spice, but smelling it, I don't know, there's just something. I think I'm actually gonna skip this one. That's kind of a shame because I feel like, you know, it's so perfect for fall, right? It's tempting, the concept is appealing, but I feel like this, I just don't want to risk it. I don't want to be disappointed and then have to make a face every time I go to use this in the shower, you know? So yeah, unfortunately we're not getting a scrub this month, but looking at my wish list, I just have the Cracked. I thought there was something else that I maybe added because I feel like I was oohing and eyeing over so many of the polishes, but apparently this is, you know, just the one, and we'll still see if I keep it on here because maybe I do have something that's more similar. So that wraps up my window shopping for polish pickup this month. As always, I would love to know your thoughts on this month's theme or offerings. Were you tempted by any of them, or are you going to be skipping? Because I know a lot of people already go crazy for September because that's all of the Halloween kind of polishes. So it makes sense to kind of go crazy for that and then pull back for the rest of the year. But yeah, as you saw, I definitely liked what I was seeing this month, where even though there were a lot of magnetics and thermals and flakies, I still thought they like nailed the theme, so that was really satisfying. But I only ended up with the one polish on my wish list, so we'll see if I do end up getting it, because I know I've mentioned before, I just hate ordering one single thing. I feel like at that point it's just easier to skip it, but I don't know if I want to skip this one, so we will see. But yeah, let me know if you are going to be grabbing anything, or just let me know any and all thoughts you have down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!